That's a little dramatic. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Friday night. Welcome to the late shift. Nice to see you folks out there. We got a little bit of a slow start, it looks like. Maybe it has something to do with my tardy starts the last couple of weeks. People might say, I might as well wait till 15 after before I try to jump in the stream. Well, those people will be surprised tonight. We're not going to mess around tonight. We're going to try to work pretty quickly here because we've got a guest. And it's always nice when we have a guest, and it's especially nice when we have Stavros from LowMesh as a guest. I mean, we had him here just 3 months or so ago, but the man has been busy and he has got a ton of stuff to share. So I can't wait to jump into that. But I do want to say hello to some folks out there. Nice to see you out there, Chris Bricker. Good to see you. Cooley, I finally got you. I don't know what's going on with you, Cooley. I'm glad to see I'm not the only person who can't see you unless we switch over to live chat. But we got you, buddy. Grayman Poda, nice to see you out there. Bob, nice to see you as well. Bob, we got you. This is a treat for us. So glad you were able to make the stream. I'm glad you aren't working on a Friday. All right, let's see. 45 Auto, nice to see you out there. I have to switch to all messages. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Cooley's got some sort of special setting or some sort of stealth mode that he's got turned on that he doesn't know how to turn off. Maybe that's the case. All right, well, let's see here. I'm going to jump right in. Let me find. I've got way too many windows open here. And I've got stuff kind of all strewn about. Let's see. Let's move a couple of things around. We're going to do a little bit of a lightning round here through a few items, some this and that, some housekeeping items, and then we're gonna jump right into things. All right, let's see if we can switch over here first. I always like to start off by sharing the link for my community list, and I'm trying to get to my links right now. Yeah, there you are. There's how you get to the community list. Folks may have noticed that I sent out a newsletter today. So a little bit of an announcement for our guest, a few other bits. Yeah, there's a few good nuggets out there, I think, in the newsletter. I don't do a lot of that, but I like to send them out. I'm trying to do once a month. That's my new thing. I'm going to try to do once a month. And I'm going to try to make sure that there's something in there that's worthwhile for you folks. So if you want to receive that and you're not already on the list, make sure you get signed up here. Just fill this out. There's like a double dare. You have to validate your email once you sign up. But it's pretty easy. No big deal. And you can see the URL right there. The other thing I'll mention is we've got a channel giveaway coming up in August. And if you want a chance to win, then you've got to be on the community list, right? So that's the caveat there. If you like free stuff, that's how you'll get it. Let's see. The other thing I'll mention here real quick is my link tree. You guys can go out here and find some merch, some bumper stickers, some of those types of things. But more importantly, you can also find a bunch of affiliate links and discount codes. And one I want to point out here tonight, well, you see I've got an affiliate link out there for my buddy Stavros right here. Right above that, I have a new one, which is an Eberlestock affiliate page. Right, so this is a 10% discount for you. And if you click on that, Eberlestock does a really nice job with this. This is pretty cool. I like this, so I'm going to share it with you guys. They actually set you up with your own page on their site. So this is on the Eberlestock website, and they allow me to put some pictures out there. And then I can also talk about the gear that I use, the things that I like. So go check that out if that's something that interests you. And if you're looking for something, take advantage of that 10% discount for sure. All right, couple other items. We're gonna do like a turbo round of this and that tonight. Some things I want to point out. This weekend, support your parks. Don't forget, this is a support your parks weekend. So the 18th and 19th, right? So if you go out to the POTA website, you can get all the details right here. There's always a lot of activity on support your park. Support your parks nights, so certainly check that out. Gray Man with the 10-month membership. Thank you. Look at that. I sent out a newsletter today. It's crazy. Yeah. Thanks for the support, Tim. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, support your parks weekend. Get out there and activate, or get out there and chase, right? Sit in your easy chair and chase. That's nothing wrong with that either. Let's see what else I've got here. Like I said, we're going to do a little bit of a lightning round here. What else do we got? I want to get to the meat. I want to get to the good stuff. Out here on my Buy Me a Coffee page, and you can get this link over on the link tree over here. You can find it over here. It's right there. I call it Buy Me a Goat. It's Buy Me a Coffee, though. And I just wanted to point out to you guys, so we had a topic last week talking about the catalog IDs for satellites coming near the end. Well, this past week, we hit the end. We actually ran out of numbers, and so that was very timely. And if you missed that, or maybe you want to get some additional detail on it, I put all this together in an article out there. So if this is something you guys are interested in, gets into a little bit of the geeky aspects of it. I just wanted to point that out there so you guys know it's out there. Gray Man, you're not wrong. It's partially Starlink's fault, right? Certainly all the satellite constellations, the rapid pace at which we're launching satellites these days, man, we've been burning through those catalog IDs. But yeah, so the odometer turned over. You guys remember, I'm sure you guys, if you guys are like me, right? Whenever you're a kid, whenever you're young, you have a lot of kind of old, let's just call them what they are, old cars. I certainly had my share of them. And it was always, these days, if you get an old car, it might already be over 100,000 miles. But I know whenever I was younger, cars didn't last like they do today. And if you got one to turn over, it was a big deal. When that odometer turned, it was a big deal. Let's see what else we've got, though. We're going to keep right on moving here. As a companion to this, and we did talk about this last week, I also launched a website out there to track the various software packages and apps, and if they are ready for the odometer turning over. And as you can see here, many of them are. Some of them are not. Some of them are almost there. I did update this with some new information. I added some additional, this Predict is a new application that wasn't on there last week. I saw that the publisher was sharing how they addressed that issue. They just quickly got out version 3, which is able to use the new packaging for that information. So I'm trying to keep this up to date. If you guys have news or information about whether or not some of these packages have updated, please let me know and I'll update this information. So, still a few of them out there that are not updated. That is a little surprising, right? SatNogs isn't quite ready there. Right. So I try to cover websites and services as well as software and apps. So that's just a resource for you guys out there. This is that Predict site that I was telling you about. So if this is something that interests you, I'll put all these links in the show description. Let's see here. A few other items I'll point out super quick. This was a big deal this week. Look at this, Tevel 2.5 active. Somebody heard it. This thing has not been, all the Tevels kind of went silent there for quite a while. So this was a pretty big deal. It was interesting. There was a post on the AMSAT BB, and, the individual here who posted this, shared that, he just tried it for the heck of it. He hadn't tried it in a while, and he could hear himself in the downlink, but there wasn't anybody else around, right? Because nobody thought that the thing was working. So, Tevel 2.5 sounds like it's back in action. So keep that in mind. Alrighty. Well, I think, let me see here. Let me move some stuff around. Bob, 300,000 on your first car? What kind of car was that, Bob? I gotta hear some more about that. I gotta see what is going on with that. All right, here. That was a turbo round of this and that. Turbo. Oh boy, what did I just do there? I did something funky. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I did miss a couple of things. I should share these real quick. I got going just so fast. I missed a couple of things that I do want to share. Here, let me bring this back up. So this nasty off-center QR code is a QR code that goes to this montesano.alpha0zulu.com. If you are going to Huntsville Hamfest here in August, and you want to join us at the YouTuber picnic on Friday, you need to sign up. Right? We're trying to get signups this year so we have a better idea of how many people we're going to be feeding. And once you sign up, if you hit this, and it's just real basic sign up, right? What's your name? What's your call sign? If you plan on bringing something. So it's super simple. But if you're going and you want to hang out on Friday and eat, certainly you can come and hang out without eating. But if you want to eat, and it's, it's free, we do ask for a donation if you can, and if you are interested. In the past, we had been giving money to the ARRL's Teachers Institute. I'm not sure who we're going to be supporting this year, but regardless of that, if you want to partake, just make sure you sign up. This will send you a verification, and you'll need that to eat on Friday of the Huntsville Hamfest. So I wanted to share that and pass that along. What else do I have here? I think that's, I have a couple cute things to show you, right? Everybody tells me they want to see more of the ranch. They want to hear about the ranch, those kinds of things. So I just thought I'd add a few little things. This is our barn kitty. And yep, that's her name, Kitty. And, she's a stray that just took up residence in the barn, and she does her thing. And, what can you say? She's a barn cat, but she's pretty sweet for a barn cat. This is kind of our new distraction here on the ranch. We've got We've got deer everywhere, but we've got this one little doe, and she's not very big. This one little doe has 3 fawns, and they, for whatever reason, stick pretty close to the house and the barn, so we see them just about every single day. But this is one of our fun distractions right now at the ranch. I think that's the last thing I really had here. An FJ Cruiser. Well, I don't consider that old, though. I'm thinking about the cars that we drove in the 80s. That FJ, well, unless you're saying it was an original FJ. Now that's something different. Bob says a Chevy Caprice. That was an old taxi cab. Huh. That is pretty interesting. All right. Well, let's see here. Let me get this stuff squared back away here. That looks good. That looks good. I am going to let me find my guest. My guest is bumming around here someplace. Let me get his mic turned on. Let me get him into the picture here. Oh, that's the wrong one. That one will work. Stavros, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Oh, it's been a battle getting inventory and dealing with Chinese shipping and customs in the U.S. It's just been crazy few weeks.
You and I were talking about that just for a few minutes beforehand, and I do not envy the task that you have taken on there. That's got to be frustrating stuff, but I'm glad you're doing it. I'll tell you that. I'm glad you're doing it because I'm a big fan of your devices and the way that you do what you do. So persevere, my
Thank
friend.
you.
Persevere.
Every time I come on the show, you start seeing more and more white hair.
Well, I'm not worried about you until you start wearing a hat like I am, because that means you got no hair. So you're still fine. It's all good. It's all good. All right. So, we had you on just, I looked back, I think it was 3 months. So it really hasn't been that long ago. But as I mentioned in the beginning here, you've been an animal. You've got some stuff going on.
Yeah, so we have I'm going to DEF CON in like August 5th. That's for like 3 days. Then I'll be at Huntsville, which is 2 weeks after that, or a week or so after that. And then September, I finally get a calm month. And then was it October? We've got Overlanders East, which is the first time I'll be branching out into a new vertical of people,
Nice.
which is kind of also a segue into the new devices that I have. They all have GPS on them now because Overlanders would need GPS for the most part. And so yeah, we've got new products that are out. We've got devices that are only going to be for sale at DEF CON. We've got upgrades to the existing models, accessories. There's so much to talk about.
Wow. You said something in there that just made me really jealous, right? You've got some DEF CON only devices. We'll have to dig into that at some point. I don't know if you saw right before this stream, I sent out an X message that says, make sure you join the stream. Don't be suffering from FOMO. And here we are, just at the top of the show, and I'm suffering from FOMO. So I won't be able to make it to DEF CON, but I'm certainly interested in hearing about what you got going on for sure. Hey, don't forget, did you get that URL? I'll drop it to you so you get signed up for lunch. We want to see you at lunch if you can swing it.
During your 20-minute introduction, I I actually signed up for that, but it does. I don't have a call sign. Yeah, I know, I know.
That's okay. That's all
So
right.
I just put, but it forces you to put a call sign, so I just put NA for now. Also, I didn't put anything that for stuff that I'll bring, but I'll see whatever it else is bringing and see what's missing because there is a list on there.
Yeah, yeah. There's a list, and don't feel like you have to. You know, for some folks, it's easier, right? I mean, it's the typical type of thing. You have a large crowd. Some folks are flying in, so that's a little more difficult for some of those folks to do something. I mean, sure, they can grab a case of water or something. That's usually what I default to. If we don't already have like a ton of water or beverages or something. But we usually have more food than we need, and it's always a lot of fun. So don't stress too bad if if trying to get to the store or something is
Yeah.
difficult.
I'll be driving from Pennsylvania, and then I have to set up the booth, and then I'll probably go to your cookout. So I'll see if there's a Wawa or whatever they have in down south.
Yeah, I don't think there's any Wawas down that way, but you'll find something for sure. You don't have to look too hard. Well, let me see here. Maybe well, how do you want to go about this? I mean, I'd love to hear about the new devices first of all, right? You've got some pre-order stuff. I don't know if you want to hold them up and show them off, or if it's easier to jump to the website to show them off. Do you have a preference?
Let me. DEF CON's the shortest thing because it's
Okay.
not going to be available. So I'll start with that real quick. We're calling it Pocket-Meshie. It's basically a play on a Tamagotchi, and so it looks like this.
Oh,
You
look at
have
that.
three buttons, and then you have a menu that. Oh, I shut it off. You have a menu that will be able to do specific actions. You could feed it and all that. It does integrate with the Meshtastic network. So as a message comes in, the little Pocket-Meshie character will basically take an envelope, which is the message, and eat it. Yeah, it's just a little gamified version that I'm gonna sell at DEF CON.
Nice. Nice. Well, that'll be fun. It's always good to have like a show special or something, right? That's a great idea. And I bet you sell out of them. Um I think I'm almost positive Josh is going to be there, Ham Radio Crash Course. So, and there's going to be, of course, there's the Ham Radio Village, and there's so much to do there. But I'm sure you'll see some folks there. Are you going as a one man show, or did you recruit some help?
I recruited somebody to help man the
Nice,
booth for the 2.5 days.
nice. That's a smart move. Otherwise, you're kind of chained to it, right? And you
Yeah,
don't get a chance to
when
check anything out.
even with two people, when me and Jason Rockland did it last year, it was just nonstop taking orders. You know, at the end of the show, he was completely sold out. We were tired. We had no time to even. They had a meeting or some type of speaker or that described and explained what Meshtastic was at the time, and being we were the only booth at the time, we just got swarmed with like 100 people at a
Hmm.
time, and yeah, so we couldn't help anybody technically. Even with two people, it was a lot. So yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, it's good. You get a lot of money, but it is taxing.
Yeah. It'll wear you out, no doubt, for sure. Well, that looks like a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm I've got FOMO. That looks like a cool little device, and I'm sure you'll get rid of them quicker than you expect.
Yeah.
As soon as you guys open up. So yeah, you're right, Steve. It's a good problem to have. Absolutely.
Um, that the next easiest topic to talk about would be the accessories. Right now, I had what I was showing off was some of the holsters. They're actually for sale now on the website. So you would be able to basically you have a holster and now
Nice.
clip. The other new accessory is a 3 cradle or 3-device charging cradle.
Nice.
Charge 3 at a time, and it's ambidextrous where you can go both directions. And so those are the accessories. Some more quality of life changes. You're familiar with the Pocket Ranger. The Pocket Ranger is the device that you carry. It uses an external antenna.
I got my Pocket Rangers.
Currently we're only selling the Pro version, which has temperature, humidity sensor, and it has a GPS sensor or GPS module. And that it goes for $79.99. It bumps it up $20 in order to support that. You still get the same battery life if you have the GPS disabled, so it's completely dead, disconnected. So you'll still get, at the time I think you were getting close to 4 weeks. All of the Pro models that device and the new device that I'll show off in a few minutes, they have something changed on the PCB which gives it another 20% more efficiency. So you'll probably get close to 5 weeks now with the new Pocket Rangers with the GPS disabled. So I upgraded from an LDO to a DC-DC buck, and it's just been crazy how much more I'm saving. So that was the change on the PCB. The other thing that's been changed on the Pro models, the Bluetooth antennas have been tuned, so you're going to get significantly better Bluetooth range now. We had a bunch of users complain about this antenna either being disconnected or breaking. I changed the antenna manufacturer, and we're sourcing a softer, more flexible antenna. That way, if the antenna gets caught on something, it doesn't snap or break or have any issues. So that antenna should be, it's good. It has the same SWR, so it's going to be the same good specs, but at least it being soft, it'll prevent from breaking much for a lot longer or never. The other random weird issue that people were having, and I was able to simulate it, if you see this carabiner, depending on how you pull on the carabiner, you can see that it started to unwind a little bit. So I actually sourced from now a new company, the same carabiner, but they wrap it differently, and it doesn't unwind with force.
Oh,
so that's
interesting.
also another quality of life change. So yeah, so every iteration or every production run, I get a list of complaints or possible upgrades, and then I try to implement them as best as I can.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The other upgrade or the other update for the Pocket Ranger is a new color. So the last new color that we had was green. That was our 4th color. And now we have got a very nice purple. So these devices are going to be going to a gentleman on YouTube called Ghoststrat. He's very, shadow comms style, matrix style kind of guy.
Yeah. He's a guy that doesn't show his face, right? Kind of works under a black light. Yeah.
Yep. So this color, I spoke with him. This color matches his specs that he has in his logos and everything, and I'll be sending him a few of these devices soon, and he'll be reviewing them. Yeah, so that is the Pocket Ranger. The Pocket Ranger, I have some numbers for power current. So when I tested when the GPS is disabled, it's getting 12.5 milliwatts. 13 milliwatts gives me about an estimated 5-week battery life. When you enable GPS, every 2 minutes, the current jumps from 12.5 milliwatts to 17 milliwatts. And that includes a 10-minute transmit over LoRa, so over the mesh. So we're talking 25% more current draw by having the GPS enabled. So I'll explain a little bit why the GPS is so special too. So I worked with Quectel on getting a very efficient GPS module. This is not the standard module that the Meshtastic and MeshCore groups use. In receive mode, it draws only 10 milliamps, and I use the I use the pins a little bit differently than what they use. It's the PPS pin, which gives you a pulse per second. I use the 3D fix pin, and obviously the reset, and I also toggle the power. So what does that give me? The PPS pin, honestly, is useless. I'm not using it, even though it's connected. What's useful is the 3D fix pin. So right now, for example, what Meshtastic does is it's like a serial stream of data, and it's just reading when the GPS data comes in. It then determines based off that serial data. That's a lot of computing power. That draws a current. So what I do is I off handle and I say, look, GPS module, go find subsatellites in a location. When you find it, use the 3D fix pin to tell me to wake up and know what the new position is. It's a significantly more efficient way of doing that. I also use backup mode correctly, and it's implemented in a way that when basically backup mode allows you to store the satellites in a configuration file locally on the GPS module, or it's technically GNSS module, but store it locally. That way, when it boots back up, it pulls from that config file, verifies based off of the satellites that are nearby, and it takes about an hour for that information to get stale and no good. But most of the time, we're getting GPS data every 5 minutes, so it's perfectly fine for that scenario. And what the benefit that gives you is faster GPS or faster satellite acquisition. So first time satellite acquisition could take 40 seconds. After that, my satellite acquisition time was anywhere between 8 to 15 seconds.
Wow.
It was significantly faster. And the faster you get a satellite, the faster you can go back to sleep. So that's why my GPS implementation is going to be much better.
Now, let me ask you something about that, right? Because if you look at certain manufacturers, and I'm not going to name names or call anybody out or disparage anybody, right? There's lots of great manufacturers out there, but I see some of them who tout that as a feature, but I don't necessarily see it in practice, right? What they claim is, now let me get it right. They essentially claim that they have a much faster acquisition time than other nodes, right? But it doesn't. They certainly don't explain it the way that you've explained it. And I'm curious if you've seen that, and is that similar to what you're doing, or is that something completely different? Or
so
the
main companies I know are Quectel, uBlocks. I think there's one Chinese company out there. Those are like the three main modules that people play around with. They all work almost all work on very similar chipsets underneath, even though they have different module numbers.
Okay.
Now, satellite acquisition is a two-part piece. It's what is your initial satellite acquisition when you turn on, and then what is your satellite acquisition as you are going through the different power modes. So I can't really answer your comment without knowing if they're talking about the first part or the power mode part, because for me, it's the power mode part that I'm happy with. So like if for example it takes, I don't know, 20 seconds for first satellite acquisition, and then after that it only takes 5 seconds, or if it takes 20 seconds after sleep, it really all changes the variables. I just know for me, if I implement it in the way that currently Meshtastic and MeshCore have it set up, and the way they have it set up is that way because there's very limited GPIO control with the dev kits as they are set up the way they are. If I use it by default, my satellite acquisition time would be about 40 seconds every time it boots up. So,
Gotcha.
either that, or they keep it in not backup mode, which is a higher level of current draw. And they're like, oh, it's only going to take 2 milliamps. What's the big deal? Well, 2 milliamps for me is a week of battery life.
Right. Well, thank you for that thorough explanation. I think you answered almost all of my questions that I had written down in my preparation here for you. So, I'm starting to wonder if you can see my desk here. But the one thing
Great
I'm
minds
not,
think alike.
there you go. The one thing I'm not sure you mentioned, and I may have missed it as I was scanning through my notes, uh, they're on pre-order now, right? When do you expect that they'll ship if folks
So
sign up on the pre-order?
so that let me segue into now the Pocket Scout, because that also is
Okay.
on pre-order and will release at the same time. Um, the PCBs, the PCBs, I've designed them, but they are made in China. I guess I send them all the components, and then they Electro, which a lot of Meshtastic and MeshCore people are familiar with because they are now in the game. Electro makes my PCBs, and then they ship it to me. So I'm just waiting for them to ship it to me. They actually told me that Saturday is when they're going to ship it. So I'm looking at roughly, all things good, 1 to 2 weeks that I'll be shipping.
Nice.
If
Nice.
if it ships out tomorrow, DHL will be pretty quick.
Nice.
Um, so the next device, which is basically you take a Pocket Ranger and you just break off the antenna, and then it looks like this. So this is called the Pocket Scout. Um, so basically, the area that had the antenna is completely covered, and it uses an internal antenna. The internal antenna was tuned as well. Um, I actually, by accident, tuned it for 868 first, without realizing, and I'm like, oh great, now I don't have to worry about EU if I ever migrate over there. Um, so the Pocket Scouts are a little bit cheaper because you don't need the SMA connector and you don't need the antenna. So but these still are the Pro variant, which is the GNSS, the temperature and the humidity, and these go for $10 cheaper than the Rangers. So they will go for $69.99.
Nice. Nice. Good to have
Say,
options.
yeah, same holster, same accessories, everything. It's all the same family. And I realized that because I had a PoE device that I had built previously, and there's been a lot of enhancements to the future of that product, that I realized that I should create a family based off of one product, like I did with the Pocket Rangers and the Scouts. That would reduce the cost of manufacturing, and it would also help allow me to cross pollinate parts for different variants of the product. So, which we'll talk about a
Nice.
little bit later.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No,
we're
that's a
looking
good
about
move.
right now 1 to 2 week turnaround time, and products are in range now from $70 to $80.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you had mentioned some other products there. Do we want to jump into those? Is this the right time there to get into your uh you had a name for them. I
So,
think it's
so there
yeah,
are
go ahead.
three upcoming. Well, there's one family product, and then there are two other products. I'll go through the list. I actually just received. Now, I don't know why I'm so happy about this, because this was actually a project that I'm working on passively because it's just so difficult. Um, but I just got my custom cut white labeled LCD screens for my Pocket tablet that a Pocket Tab that I'm making. It's going to be
Ah.
It's going to be a weather resistant. Imagine the T deck,
Yep.
but a 5,000 milliamp battery, a complete touchscreen, no tactile keyboard. It's all touchscreen, and it's waterproof with a gasket and all.
Cool. Okay.
Oh, microphone and as well to potentially do audio. So
Okay.
that's one project. The other project that I'm working on is a Pocket Solar. So we had the Pocket S that Rockland sells currently. We're going to potentially in the next few months maybe upgrade to an injection molded version if they have the money. Um, but that's also another project that people seem to really like. And the last is the family, which is at the moment it's codenamed BaseCamp, which is you got the Rangers and the Scouts, and BaseCamp is where everybody starts, right? So it's where everybody meets, and it's going to be an outdoor it's outdoor. It's an outdoor PoE and an outdoor solar node. It will be injection molded. It won't be 3D printed anymore. And so it's going to come in 3 variants. The first variant is it's just a battery. It's just an outdoor battery backup cylinder. That's all it is. So you charge it. You can charge it externally in a certain voltage range, and then you can plug in voltage out. So it's basically an outdoor battery pack. That's
Okay.
option 1. Option 2 is it has a 1-watt e-byte module, which is FCC certified. It uses an So I've been talking with Esperif on a new chip that's coming out in Q4. I just applied for samples. It's called the H21. I'm very, very excited about that. It is their first chip that they're putting a DC-DC inside in order to draw very, very low current. So I'm going to do an Ethernet PoE with a 1-watt and that Esperif chip all in one with battery backup all together. And
Nice.
it will have its own Ethernet. Downside, no Wi-Fi. So it's going to be an ESP chip that has just Bluetooth and PoE. I asked around, and people didn't really care for the Wi-Fi on that, and that's going to save a lot of current draw, especially in backup mode, battery mode. And then the third option is the solar. And so that's going to come basically, imagine the PoE, but all the Ethernet stuff ripped out of it, more batteries, and a 10-watt a 10-watt panel on the outside.
Awesome.
All the batteries that I keep mentioning, it's all going to be sodium ion based. So there'll be no lithium. I'm trying to have this be the most safest, most this is the best outdoor thing to buy. You must buy it, because this is the best.
Right. So let's dig into that a little bit, right? Let's talk about the sodium batteries.
Sure.
A lot of people might not be familiar with the pros and cons of a sodium ion cell. Can you speak to that just a bit?
Sure. So when it comes to capacity, lithium is king. Lithium can store the most amount of current per, it's by weight. For example, it's 900 milliamps for every 18650 cell, which is very, very low. And so for the solar one, there'll be 6 batteries inside. And then for the PoE one, there'll be 4 batteries inside. But again, for the PoE, that's just a backup mode, just in case.
Right.
So sodium ion is very good in the cold. They can go down to negative 40 degrees Celsius, and they won't die. You could still use them. And once you go up to normal temperatures, they have no issues with recovery. They are one of the few batteries that could be drained completely and then charged up again, almost like a supercapacitor or capacitors can be drained down to zero volts. The datasheet says about 1 volt. And then obviously the BMSs and all that you would add would stop you from going lower than that. Safety, so sodium ion comes in 2 different variants. One is, it depends on the layer between. One is an organic compound, which is called NFPP, and then the other one is an oxidation layer. The oxidized layer can actually store more current or more capacity. So the 900 milliamp example I gave you is actually 1300 milliamps in an oxidized layer. The problem is oxidized layer has a very, very small chance of thermal runaway, and I don't want that chance at all. So I will go with lower capacity, and you can run them over, crush them, put a nail through them. You can put 500 amps through them. They will get hot. They will not explode. They will not catch fire. They don't have thermal runaway.
Cool. Now,
that's the good stuff. There's bad stuff.
yeah. Another good thing, I believe, right? No nickel, no cobalt, right? So
yeah. So yep.
You don't have some of those rare earth issues, right? That you have with lithium.
Yep. And shipping is a bit easier
Yeah.
because of no lithium.
Right. Now, I don't see anybody else doing this. I don't see
Meshtastic
anybody.
and Mesh,
Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
Meshtastic and MeshCore, it's low voltage, and everybody who's talking about sodium-ion batteries is looking at it in only one of two different ways: either A, as a way of replacing lithium in cars, or B, as a way of storing energy for either house or servers or some type of huge, large capacity. Those are two very extreme examples of how batteries are used, and they're used very widely like that. But there are low current, low power examples that could be replaced today with it. It's just people don't look at that because it's a very hard thing to sell. You, the charging circuits are not really there for sodium ion because the voltage ranges are so weird. The A lithium charger, if it goes down to 3 volts, it thinks the battery is broken, right? And it's the
Right,
recovery
right,
is also so the the economy of building it just isn't there. But if you're building a product designed for it, and so I solved the charging issue by using by using a lithium charger that can act as a charge supercapacitors. That was the first option, which is doing a constant current, constant charge. Then I found a little bit more expensive part from TI that allows me, but this requires a processor connected. I basically tweak all of the settings in order to match it to kind of what a sodium profile would be like at 1.8 volts. You're now at 0 volts. At 3.8 or 3.9 volts, you're at 100%. Disable trickle charging at this voltage. Do this. I could also do temperature ranges based off charging rates based off temperature, and I could manually do all of that through I2C on the processor. Now with Meshtastic and MeshCore outdoor gateways or repeaters, those all have a processor in them. It works perfectly to connect that chip because you could also then get your how much current you're charging off the solar panel, how much current you're drawing from the circuit itself, because a 1 watt needs 5 volts in, even though where everyone's like, oh, it's a 1 watt, it's only going to draw an amp of current or close to that, but it's actually 5 volts at 5 volts at like 600 milliamps or so, more than that, and you need two different power rails. You need a 5
yeah,
volt and a 3 volt to handle the Nordic side. It's people are like, just put a 1 amp in there. It's not that easy. Anyways,
yeah.
so for sodium's weird battery voltage ranges of 1.8 to 3.8 volts, you need a lot of circuitry in that, and that adds that increases the cost, and people don't want to pay for that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I love the idea, first of all, especially for an outdoor node, right? That you've got a lower temperature range, right? Without compromising the battery. I think that's fantastic. I think it's fantastic that, it's a safer chemistry, right? It's, you can't argue that it's a safer chemistry. The only thing that I see as maybe a downside, and I'm curious what you think about this, is it's really a density issue, right? A power density issue, right? It's you got to get more weight, more battery weight to get the same kind of capacity. Um,
Correct.
you know, that's really the only downside I see, besides needing a specialized BMS or maybe not a, well, you don't you need something that's not a lithium BMS, put it that way, right?
Right. Right. So think of use case. I think your use case drives the battery you're going to use. Um, in the Pocket Ranger that you're getting 4 weeks or close to 4 weeks of battery life, there's only a 2,000 milliamp battery in there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm putting almost 6,000 milliamps in this outdoor repeater, and we're going to last 3 months. In basically, imagine me replicating the Ranger in an outdoor node, and I'm just 3xing my current supply. So yeah, I got to put in a lot of batteries, but they're super cheap. It does get heavy or heavier than what lithium would be, but I'm not really care. I'm not. I don't really care about weight so
Right,
much.
right. Now, what
Um,
what were the other? I'd cut you off before you got to your list of downsides. What do you have on that list that we missed?
I kind of sprinkled it in as I was talking.
Okay.
The first was the voltage ranges are much wider. The operating voltage ranges are much wider than standard lithiums. They're not. You can buy them on Alibaba, certain cell sizes, but you can't buy like a AA size or AAA size. You can't just easily replace like a TV remote or something that uses standard sizes. The charging circuits are difficult, and the they're not they don't. It's not like they have a downside. They just don't work as well in extremely high heat environments,
Mm-hmm.
where lithium could potentially go to like plus 80 degrees Celsius. Um, certain variants can, I think LFPs, but sodiums kind of don't like anything like above 65, 70 C.
Mm.
They
Okay.
nothing's bad's going to happen to them. They're just not going to operate at 100% efficiency.
Gotcha. You'll just lose some capacity, some manner
Yeah.
of capacity there. Okay. Now, you had mentioned a couple of other pretty cool features to this line, which I don't think we've touched on yet.
Yeah, you might be, I don't know, you're referring to the cellular unit?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
cool.
So it kind of goes against the not open source, kind of. It goes against the open source, free, this is my network kind of mentality, and more into the B2B mentality. But if a fire department is going to be installing nodes all over the country, all over the city, they need more of a B2B forward thinking than
Yeah.
this is just a hacker maker thing. So um, I'm looking into in the BaseCamp model, both in the PoE and in the Solar, putting in an optional cellular modem. How that's going to be structured is not figured out yet, whether it's going to be a monthly or how a fee or whatever. But the idea of putting in a cellular modem is for remote management. You can update the firmware remotely. You can get stats. You can manage the device over cellular if you have a cellular connection, and that would potentially be more like a platform as a service for that LowMesh would provide to other companies or other people.
Yeah, yeah. And really this I think you hit the nail on the head, right? You're really taking it out of the kind of hobby range here, and now you're putting it
Yeah.
into more of an IoT range, right? A more of a commercial-ish or professional type of solution.
Yeah. Yeah. The PoE version you'll be able to update locally on your own network and you can do that yourself. Though there's also going to be an API for people who want to maybe expose that to the internet somehow. But the cellular component would be strictly for my use or for LowMesh's use. Um, but
Yeah,
there's no reason that somebody can't put their own thing in there and do their own thing, their own connection. So once I have the footprint for the cellular modem, if you want to put in your own SIM and manage it yourself, make your own little MQTT cluster or whatever, go ahead.
yeah,
It's open hardware. So that's at the end of the day, that's the nice thing. But at least there's an option for a more B2B or more professional installation that can be self-managed.
yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. And I've got I've got some hardware around here, laying around here that has the ability to add a SIM for like a what is it, once? If you've
Yep,
seen that network, right? The once
I've
network.
used them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have, because I used to work with Rack, and Rack kind of worked very well or works together well with Monogoto. I'm probably gonna do something with them. They're
Okay.
very similar to Once. They're NVMO, just like Once is,
Yep.
and they do. You buy one SIM and you could just buy bulk data or pooled data. It's
Yep.
very, very, very similar.
Nice. Nice. I think that's awesome. I think it's really cool. And again, I just love the way that you think about these opportunities a little differently than a lot of other folks are thinking about them or not thinking about them, whatever, however the case may be.
Well, every people are. I don't know what Meshtastic does. I think they have now that they have Meshtastic solutions. I think they are thinking more B2B, though they have the ability to do B2B. I think MeshCore. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I think MeshCore is more in litigation right now, so they have their own problems to worry
Yeah.
about. But I think once the dust settles and things, I think the main two companies will do more B2B stuff. That hopefully is the firmware doesn't change every week.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you also mentioned that H21 chip.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that is a reaction to the NRF chips, right? It sounds like it's kind of aligned, from a feature set and also trying to improve the battery performance, right, compared to the
So
NRFs.
I I go to CES every year. I love annoying the Nordic team. Every time Nordic is there, I love annoying them. I love their stuff. Their stuff, no matter what SPRF does, they'll never be able to beat Nordic at their own game.
Sure.
Nordic really they know their shit. So uh, H21 so they already make something called the H2, and the H2 is and the H21 they're going to be pin compatible. There'll be a drop-in replacement. It will just be more efficient. The H2 and the H21 is a Zigbee thread matter chip, and how it compares to the NRF 52840 that we currently use. It has 4 megabytes of memory RAM. That I think the Nordic only has 1 megabyte. The processing speed is at 96 megahertz. It's significantly faster than the Nordic. It will still draw more current than the Nordic. The reason why I'm using it is because Nordic doesn't really support dual bank swapping of firmware. And so when I want to do a PoE HTTP swap
Mm.
for firmware, SPRF has been doing it for the past 5-6 years with the whole ESP kit. So it's much easier to port that over to the H21 than it is to Nordic.
Gotcha. I see. Yeah, that's again, that's a feature set that really kind of opens up a lot of possibilities for sure. Cool.
Yeah, no, yeah, I could have gone with the S3 for the ESP32 like everybody does, and then like disable all the radios and then put it always into sleep mode. But the if you want to beacon out Bluetooth beacon every X period of time, it draws, I don't know, if I'm just guessing here, it's going to draw anywhere between 10 to 20 times more power on the S3 than it will on the H21.
Gotcha. Okay. You mentioned that you might want to do a demo. You have a pretty some cool stuff to show.
So yeah, I'm not really ready for the demo. I think what I could do is I could just show the app real quick.
Okay.
What I have, I have my own LowMesh protocol. I haven't given it out to only to a certain few people, the documentation and some of the examples. I don't think it's necessary at the moment to muddle the waters yet with my own protocol. It basically combines MeshCore and Meshtastic together in a way, at least their concepts, which is basically infrastructure when you have it, ad hoc when you don't. So think of you guys go to hiking, it's basically automatically hybrid ad hoc mode. You're all repeating all of your data. And then once a repeater is found, your edge devices or the devices you're carrying, they don't relay or repeat messages anymore. Now they are silent. And there's a lot of IoT stuff in there. There's a lot of sending long messages for audio and games and files and whatnot. Um, a lot of concepts that were cross cross-pollinated from MeshCore, Meshtastic, and then from my LoRaWAN sensor IoT stuff that I am familiar with.
Okay.
So, but I don't know if it's necessary at this point to create a third, because then it's going to be like, what do I do at a sales demo? I'm like, oh yeah, low mesh firmware is so much better than Meshtastic or MeshCore. Buy my stuff because I have 0 users. No, there. I don't want to do that. So, but I had to present that or provide that for when I was doing my trademarking for LowMesh.
Okay.
They wanted for the certain classifications. They wanted to make sure that I had my own
Right. You've got something
protocol,
unique.
my own. Yes.
Yeah.
Even including the mobile app they needed. So the mobile app. The mobile app, I combined Meshtastic and MeshCore in the back end. So you can do, if you have okay, let me just show you real quick. So here is the app when it first turns on. I click scan for radios. It's going to search for radio. This is in simplified mode. Basically, simplified mode only allows for either MeshCore or Meshtastic, one or the other.
Okay.
So this one is, I don't know why it's blurry, but there you go. So then it's asking me for a code.
Pin.
We'll do this. Yeah. It's connecting. And so this is now connecting to Meshtastic. The Android code now pops up separate. And then it'll eventually join. And so this now allows me to connect a Meshtastic radio to the phone, and do whatever the normal default Meshtastic app would do. So we can click on the map. We get users and locations, GPS data. We're also able to filter the groups. So for example, if I have a message group that this one only has public, but let's say I had family and only the family members, I'd be able to look on the map for just those family members and then also track them over time and see all of their trails that they've walked,
Nice.
Where they are.
Yeah. You mean that thing that Meshtastic disabled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could specify it for specific groups so we don't get all of the...
Yeah, you don't get all the trails. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, we're allowed to switch between Meshtastic and MeshCore in the settings. This is simplified mode. In non-simplified mode, which is I call developer mode, you actually can do MeshCore and Meshtastic at the same time. And so in the map, you would have a tab that you would just see Meshtastic and MeshCore users.
Nice.
And then even in the chat bubbles, you would then also be able to see.
So they both show up in the same chat. Now,
yeah.
How does that work, right? Because those chats are organized by room typically. So you're just ignoring, or a channel. So you're ignoring the channel and just kind of bringing it all together.
Kind of. So one of them just does 0 through 7. They're just channel numbers 0 through 7, and Meshtastic does something differently where they create a hash key for every channel, and that hash key is generated by what the name of the channel is.
Right.
And so, so rather than what you're saying is combining them here, I actually have on the top here a toggle switch that would switch this from Meshtastic to MeshCore to keep it separate. I don't want to mix them, because when you click on direct, for example, it's going to show you a list of users, and then you'd be able to message them directly. Let's see, direct. So this is an example of messaging somebody directly. I can do audio. So if I click on the microphone, I can record my voice, and then if they have the app running on the other end, it will also play on their side. It still uses the Meshtastic network by default. It does, or MeshCore if you're using the MeshCore radio. So even if they don't have the phone, you could still piggyback through the network. And I also have games. I have 6 on here right now.
Okay.
You can play with people directly. just
why not? Just because.
Yeah.
So how's the voice sound? Do you have any? Can you give us a sample of what that sounds like? Is it kind of natural sounding? Is it robotic sounding? Is it?
At 1200 BPS, it's a bit robotic sounding. I do have filters on both ends to kind of help it.
Yep.
And what's funny is it's also dependent on the phone. So depending on how good your mic is,
Oh, that's
it could
interesting.
be, yeah. So I have another phone here that I'm loading the app on to see if I can do it. I wasn't doing a demo just yet, but move. Okay, Meshtastic, scan for radios. And so when you are, so you have pre and post filtering on both. So as you're recording, you can filter out certain ranges of. So if it's not voice, don't even
Gotcha.
add it.
Yep.
Um,
So just at a frequency
it's
level, so you're just kind of like rolling off the low end.
Yeah, for voice was like
Yeah.
up for up a few hundred hertz. Turn on some more radios. I only had one connected. So while I attempt this, try this here.
Stavros has
Okay.
no fear.
Yep.
He's going. This is demo. This is like raw demo right here. No fear.
Yep.
We all know how demos work, so we appreciate your courage. Even when things are like production, we know how how demos can go. So
Yeah. It's always everything works when it doesn't, and then it doesn't work when it's supposed to. It's
that's
never the
right.
right way. As I'm doing this, what else we want to talk about?
So the cellular thing is pretty interesting, right? Um, I I think about some goofy things sometimes. You know, we have a 2,000-foot tower in North Texas here. It's kind of it's this infamous tower, the Roston Tower, and it's 2,000 foot. And people, I mean, just think about it. Even if you just get halfway up that, you're at, you got an extra 1,000 foot, right? You're up at 1,000 foot. Um, but when you start thinking about these cellular networks, they're really kind of optimized for like 200 foot and lower, right? So, you know, the first thing I thought of is, man, I'd love to put one of those things up on the Roston Tower. But then I'm thinking, well, wait a second. You can't go too high because all these cell towers are kind of like angled down, right? They're like at 200 foot angled down, and you don't want to get outside your cellular footprint from a management perspective.
No, you're right. And in those cases, maybe a PoE would be better, and
Yeah.
that you just run that down the tower.
I mean, it's not many people that have that concern, right? To have to worry about, putting it above 200 feet or something. But whenever you're getting into a commercial space, right, then you're certainly in a different category of user. Hey, Bill, thanks for joining out there. Good to see you. We got a few people just rolling in here. Hey, Tim, nice to see you. Stavros is preparing a little demo for us here.
All right, here we go. Let's see if this works.
three, four. Say 1, 2, 3, 4.
You hear it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Testing the audio. Hello, hello, hello. So I have the ability to do a playback for a test rather than trying to make sure all these radios are talking to each other. I actually store the
some test files.
Testing audio. Hello, hello, hello.
and that's at 1200 BPS.
That's
I do
really
have
not bad at all.
No, I can go 3 times better than that, but it's going to take 3 times as long to transmit that message.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. That is, it sounded like you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was expecting when you said it sounds a little robotic, I was expecting much worse. That is completely acceptable. Completely acceptable. That is awesome. Guys, do you know what you just heard? Right? That was voice over Meshtastic. I'm assuming that was the Meshtastic one.
Yes.
Yeah. And you can do it. Does one do voice better than the other? Not that we want to compare, but we always compare.
It's Meshtastic does something better that MeshCore doesn't, and it has nothing to do with audio, but the audio is a example of it. So, for example, if you want to send a large file, Meshtastic is better because it supports relaying message data that is unknown, where MeshCore only relays text style data. So if I want to send voice, it has to be registered as a text message or similar message.
Gotcha.
So my answer would be Meshtastic would work better in that way. It works for both Meshtastic and MeshCore.
Are you encoding that differently, or? Yeah.
Okay. So if you're talking over a Meshtastic radio, it's encoded not as a text message, as a multi-message thing that has to get put together. On MeshCore, it's messaged as a text message data, but you can mask the data. You can mask the text message data that it's unreadable, or it wouldn't be picked up as a standard string message on the mobile app.
Gotcha.
So even though it's text data, it's not really text data, but it's still ASCII characters.
Gotcha. So you're just encoding it then.
Yeah. And the payload allows for you basically have a voice ID number and then a packet number. So it's like here's the message ID, and this is frame number 1 of 10. So if if the message is 10 messages worth, if on the other end, now all that logic is actually running on the mobile app. So the mobile app will say, "Oh, I only got 8 out of the 10 messages. Let me ask for the other 2 messages."
Yeah.
And
So
then
it's got some error correction built in. Yeah. Nice. That is so cool. I just love that. Now I know you said months ago that you were playing around with this and you'd made a little bit of progress on it, but that is crazy. That is fantastic. That is so cool.
I got so my app also does so I have an ATAC server on the mobile app. So I don't use the Meshtastic version. I have my own. And because I have my own, it now allows me to use MeshCore devices over ATAC. Which didn't exist.
Yeah, that's cool. ATAC or any of the, I'm assuming some of those other open standards, those other TACs, right? There's some other other TACs out there.
It creates a local server, and you just hit the local IP server with the port, and it's all the standard message frame types that ATAC's looking for.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. I don't know, guys. How many people want one of those? How many people want to be able to talk over their Meshtastic devices? I bet you a lot of people would like to do that, right? I mean, that's a whole nother thing, right?
Because I'm going to be going to Overland, this has to be a feature that's implemented because they have all the walkie-talkies, they have all the Garmins, and you can't beat Garmin at their game. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So and they're like, great, it's mesh. What can I do? Text? Well, that's stupid. Like,
Right. Right.
it's too limited.
Yeah.
So rather than building a device like this, which is the hard way of you build a device and you have to put the voice in there and you got to do it and basically make a walkie-talkie. Everybody's got a device and everybody's got a phone. So offload all of that logic to the phone. Make it simple for the user. Make it easily adoptable, whether they have low mesh hardware or not. Now, was I very capitalistic in my thinking and be like, oh, maybe I could charge people who are not low mesh customers a license fee? I thought of that, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Be mean and do that. I, I think it would help push the name of low mesh and people
Oh,
would
yeah, for sure.
understand.
For
Yeah,
sure. I mean, yeah, I think, look, voice makes it a device that everybody can understand, right? Not everybody gets it as just text, but as soon as you can talk over it, now it's a whole different thing, right?
yeah. You can
It
send the
definitely
voice
is.
messages publicly or through the group channel. Both for now, I have it set to both public and private groups, but from the small group of people I've shown this to, people have said it's probably best to disable voice for the public channel.
That makes sense. I can appreciate that, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people are going to do what people do, and yeah, all of a sudden now your network's flooded, and yeah, that is really cool. Thanks for sharing that. That's the best thing I've seen all week, I'll tell you. No doubt about it. Oh boy. Let's see here. Did I miss any good questions? Anybody have any questions for Stavros here in the chat? Everyone's kind of quiet. I don't know if they're all just if they're all enamored, if they're all sleeping. You never know. Let's see if we got any questions out there. We'll give folks a minute to ask any questions they have. Um, but yeah, I like the idea of having a way to I mean, I think it's great. The concept of having like a management service, right? Because again, I think once you get into that more commercial space, I think a lot of people will be interested in that. I think I think you're thinking about things in the right way there. Certainly makes sense to me. Let's
Yeah,
see
the
here.
management.
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead, please.
I was gonna say that the a 1 watt module is already challenging enough, and then you're going to throw on top of that a up to 1 amp current draw cellular modem that might ping a certain frequency. I worry that I'm going to be drawing too much power than what I'm supplying. So the management service or the management on the cellular, it's not going to be always on. It has to be toggled at a fixed
Makes sense.
so it's probably going to be once every hour, once every few hours. It checks in. Do I have any messages queued for me, like action items? Do I need to update? Have I been requested to send a specific information? And then it goes back to sleep. So you'll at least get heartbeats. You'll get aggregated data over time. So you'll get things like environmental statistics, network statistics, like how many messages have been received, how many been relayed, how many been dropped, especially because all of them are going to have GPS on them, even though you don't really need GPS on a fixed node. The MeshCore requires a valid timestamp on their repeaters. And rather than having to constantly manage your time if it reboots, you can just pull the time off of your cellular modem.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Last week, I'm trying to remember the name of this thing. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But last week, toward the end of the show, when things kind of really go off the rails and, we're just down to a handful of hardcore people that are still hanging around, we were talking about I wish I could remember the name of it. I think it's like Atoll or something like that. It's a geo satellite gateway for LoRa. And when I think about pairing that up with some of this stuff too, um, it just
What
seems. Go ahead.
you're the satellite guy over me, so I am very green in this area. What I know is that the LR 2021 is going to have S-band support,
Mm-hmm.
which we can buy that module for now. But when I looked at the data plans to do that, it was uplink only, and it was so expensive.
Yeah.
Now,
So
if we're connecting, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So it's and this is S band and L band, and you're right. I mean, they're really not designed for this, right? They're designed. I mean, they want you to. Uh, it's an IoT based type service, right? That's really what it's for. And the idea is that you collect all your data, you do some sort of smart packaging to keep your payload as small as possible before you send it. But this is, it's bidirectional, so you can send and you can receive. So, but you know, the the data plans are in like kilobytes, right? I mean, they got a SIM in them, right? Whenever you get your device, I think you get 30 kilobytes is the
It's like
starter plan.
10% of a firmware file.
So, but I don't know, like all this stuff, right? It seems like it eventually starts to get cheaper, right? But it just, when you start thinking about all the parts and pieces are there, and if you could actually utilize or leverage a geostationary satellite and the footprint that a geostationary satellite covers, right? And it doesn't move, it's always there. Now it just feels like you've got a real always on, always available type of service.
Is the L and
That just
S
blows my
band
way.
that we're talking about, which is kilobytes only, really, is that different than what Starlink is doing with their satellite phone service?
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. I don't know.
Because I could probably buy a QuickTel module that'll hook into Starlink, and then that would basically be satellite. I'll get higher data throughput, and I bet the plans would be a hell of a lot cheaper
Oh
than
yeah, for sure.
this IoT thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So I won't rule it out. When I shop around for cellular modems, I'll look at what potential there is for satellite option. It'll be more expensive, obviously, but
Oh yeah, yeah,
at least create the same footprint for the PCB that I could swap the modules if I want to.
yeah. Just to give you an idea, right? Those gateway devices, and they have several flavors of them depending on what protocols you want to use, right? They have some with Bluetooth, some without, some with LoRa, some without, right? So they've got all different types, but they're like $400 is what they charge for these things, right? So there's it feels like there's a lot of room in there, right? It feels like there's opportunity in there just because of how expensive they make this stuff. And look, I get why they make it that expensive, right? Having access to a geostationary satellite is that's a pretty cool thing. Right?
Okay, homework for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm trying to get my hands on one. I'm trying to get one to play with. Just to see, it'd be fun, right? To get one, have a bunch of sensors here around the ranch, have them all come into a central point, right? You can hook it up to a Raspberry Pi or some other compute, bring everything in, and then learn how to consolidate and package that data, right? To make that, to maximize your data plan, right? Because that's definitely where they get you. But it sounds like just a fun project, something cool to
Well,
explore
it
and
actually
learn.
solves one pain point problem that you had mentioned before, which is tower height.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're too high, you could still get cellular coverage through Starlink instead of down below.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Let's see here. Hey, there's Mesh Dealer Dave. Welcome, Dave. Let's see here. We had a couple of questions. Where'd they go? Are you ever, Chris Bricker wants to know, are you ever going to release your firmware? I've got a different question on this, a different angle on this. I'll let you answer this first.
If you legally, if you want the firmware, I have to give it to you if it's Meshtastic. So GPL3 says that, and that's fine with me. I'm not doing anything crazy. So if it's something you want, I can just export the thing and give it to you. I don't care. I've been pretty vocal on the Discord channels as to the changes I've made because I wanted them implemented. There are things that silly things. Well, now that the pros are out or coming out, there are actually more changes than before. So now there are GPS. The way I handle GPS is different. So that would be more important for me to make public. But previously, with the ARX duty cycle and the Bluetooth setting changes, all of that was public knowledge that was available on Discord. But yeah, if you want the thing, just email me. I created a GitHub for LowMesh. I have not filled it with anything yet. I just upgraded to the newest Meshtastic firmware, which I think is 26 or 27. What is it? Give me a second. 26, 2.7.26, because they just went 2 weeks ago to beta with that. Since then, it was like a year ago was their last beta, and it's all been alphas. So I can put the newest on GitHub. Please keep reminding me or send me an email, and I'll just do the easy thing and give you a Dropbox link.
Yeah, well, I was going to, I was just going to comment. First of all, you've always been extremely open and willing to explain and share and basically provide the playbook for what you're doing. It blows my mind that people aren't grabbing a hold of that and going, oh my gosh, we need to do this. That just blows my mind.
Right. So why isn't Seed, Liligo, Elecro, Liligo, Seed? Well, why aren't they doing this? Why isn't Rack doing this? And from what I've been told, they don't want to touch the firmware. They only want to be a hardware company, and the community is what's driving the firmware, and the community just hasn't done it. So,
interesting.
Is it a selling point that it's 5 weeks instead of 2 weeks? Sure, it's a selling point. Not everybody will care. Some people will be like, well, I charge all my stuff every 2 days. I don't care. Is it something I have to manage more? Yes, I have to manage I have to roll the firmware updates myself. I have to download them. I have to merge the files. It's a real pain in the neck. For MeshCore more than Meshtastic. Meshtastic's been a bit easier, but MeshCore every few weeks it's a new update, and I can't keep up with it myself. So that's what the benefit of a community-driven firmware is. But the downside is adoption for these what we'll call experimental things, just don't happen, and the big companies don't want to be in control of it. So the argument that I could have had was, oh well, it provides me leverage, and people will want my products versus their products because mine has better features through software. It completely goes out the window because they just don't care. It's like,
right,
okay,
right. Well, and I know, I believe, and I believe I've heard you talk about this before. I mean, you've been trying to get some of these Bluetooth changes into the track, into the regular Meshtastic track. At least that's what I understood, from a while back, right? You were a big proponent of, hey, we can do this better. let's try to do this better, but nobody seems to be like jumping at it for whatever reason.
I let the Meshtastic team do whatever the Meshtastic team wants to do. That's my relationship with Meshtastic. They
Fair
go
enough.
slow.
Fair enough. Fair. I don't want to. I don't want to create a friction point or anything here.
No. I'm saying they go slow, but they go slow for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
The less waves they make, the more stable it is for interoperability long term. And every change is a potential breaking point. So
Sure.
if they don't want
Sure.
to adopt those changes, they have valid reasoning to fall back on.
Fair enough.
MeshCore, there was one change that I tried to do with MeshCore was related to the audio notifications. There's one beep for all notifications. I created a way of doing audio notifications for specific groups. So basically, you say, I don't want the public channel to beep, but I want like private messages and only private messages from these specific groups. And then I had the ability uh, to basically change the tone per group. So you could just keep it in your pocket, hear the tone difference, and you'd be like, I got a message from the family instead of, the developer. So then you'd be able to choose that. But that was denied because that was too limiting. They had told the dev team for MeshCore said that it only worked for their current implementation, which is the 7 or 8 channels that they currently support. They want to go to a lot more than 7 or 8 channels in the future. So they're going to try to build out a bit more flexible solution that will accommodate those features just with, 40 or 50 channels eventually.
Gotcha.
So I stopped pushing that stuff, and right now I just focus on hardware and supporting it. And my thing is just low battery.
Yeah. Well, that's the other angle I wanted to come at, right? Is that, you started out, you made a bunch of improvements from a software perspective, and now you're making improvements from a hardware perspective. And working with a company that makes LoRa hardware, do you ever have any concern about shipping your designs off to someone like an Elecro? And I work with Elecro folks, right? I like those folks. I use a bunch of their stuff. I have a bunch of their stuff here. It's more, and I'm not trying to say Elecro is going to do something that they shouldn't, right? But I think it's a question that most people, at least fleetingly, would have if they're in a similar situation, right? Do you ever think, boy, I wonder if I should send this this design, my design, to somebody who does the same thing? I'm just curious. I mean, obviously, you've gotten comfortable with it at some level. I'm just kind of curious if you don't mind going down that path.
I mean, what option do I have? Let's see if I can do this.
You could start
camera's delayed.
Getting trays of chemicals and
there.
start.
There. You see that white box?
Yeah.
That's a Lumen PNP. That is a $4,000 or $5,000 pick and place machine to make my own PCBs. It is still in the box. I am not making PCBs and doing it myself. It is not cost effective. It is not. China, for what it's worth, they're dirt cheap. When you're making PCBs, your only options are what JLC, PCB, Elecro.
Yeah, there's not many.
Maybe one or two others, and then or what? Send it to India, send it to the Philippines or Vietnam. So there's always the chance that somebody can do that, unless you do it yourself in your own garage.
Right.
It is what it is. If I see my product out there, then I know. I've only seen a copy of the solar one on Alibaba, believe it or not.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that got taken down. But yeah, there was a square solar powered device that looked very similar to my Pocket S.
Oh, so that's, I mean, I heard something in there that I think is great, right? You said it got taken down. So,
Yeah.
um, I guess if you raise the flag, then at least they've listened to some
Yeah,
extent.
but you need a legal department in order to
Yeah,
keep up with everything.
sure, sure. Speaking of Alibaba, um, one of the things that popped up in my feed this week cracked me up. It's one of these. Do you know what a Jetson 1 is? It's a
You mean like the
the
CPU, the little like
quadcopter.
Linux board?
No, the
Oh, no.
quadcopter. So these are personal quadcopters, right? So somebody's making a Jetson 1. Maybe it's Jetson. These things are like $150,000, right? It's a personal quadcopter, right? That you can get in. Here, I can try to find one here. You know what? I want to
That's
see.
okay.
I want to see if
I don't think this thing would lift off if I sat in it. Nope. Yeah. Weight limit.
they're like 200 pounds. Um, did you find one?
I did. It looks like a
Yeah,
little speeder
yeah.
from Star Wars.
Right. So it's this, and I should try to find one here. Let me see if I can. Where in the heck? I lost my. Let me see where in the heck this is. I gotta find. What did I do with it? I had it here. Okay, this one here will work here. Let me jump in just so people can see what in the heck I'm talking about here. So it's a Jetson 1, I believe, something like that. A quadcopter. Yeah, here we go. Right? Yeah, so it looks like a pod racer from Star Wars, right? So these things are like 150 grand. Unless you buy one on Alibaba. And I came across these guys who bought the Alibaba version. Let's see here. And sorry for the distraction here, but this cracked me up. Let's see, yeah, there we go. Women's intimates, what's up with that? All right, here we go. I think this is the one they bought right here. For $30,000, you can get one from Alibaba. And so these guys on this YouTube channel, I can't remember the name of the channel, they bought it and they put it together and they flew it. And I only saw part 1. There's part 2. And part 1, the first thing they did is they just lifted the thing off and then they cruised it around a little bit and then they sat it right back down. It comes with a controller. That's a like a drone controller. Let's see if I don't think they show it in here, but then it also has a joystick, right? So these guys, and then, after they did that, they're like, ooh, hey, this thing is actually going to fly. So one guy puts on the motorcycle helmet and jumps in and, they just do the, like 6-foot test, right? Up and then down. And like, okay. Then they started getting a little froggy and they would get up maybe 10, 15 feet, fly around a little bit. And then
What kind of license do you need to drive that?
you don't need one. That's what's crazy. The way that it's, I guess because it's a quadcopter, you don't need a drone license and you don't need any other kind of license, which is just crazy. But anyhow, you can pick one up for 30 grand, or if you want to buy 10 for 25,000. But at the end of the video, right? So they did their little tests, and then they were playing with it some more. And then they took it up again unmanned, and the thing got all wobbly and then came down and hit pretty doggone hard. So I'm curious to see what part 2 is. But Alibaba, you can basically buy just about anything at Alibaba. So I'll find that YouTube video and I'll drop it in the. You know what? I'll bet you I can find it. Let me just see if I can. It's actually, when they were putting it together, they kept remarking how nice it was, how well it was made. Let's see if
there's other ways for me to go in this world. I don't know if I want to take that one. I'll wind up decapitating myself with the blades or something.
Well, that's the thing, right? Right, because it's all carbon fiber and it's all fairly flimsy carbon fiber. I should bring this back over. There's a ton of videos out here on these things. I'm looking for the one for these. It's a bunch of young guys that do like car repair. I should have paid closer attention. But all the carbon fiber stuff, right? When you wreck and that stuff shatters, it becomes like a knife, right? Like razor blades. So, gosh, I wish I could find that. These young kids, they were having a blast, right? When just, I was glad to see at least they took it a little easy, and luckily nobody was in it whenever it crashed. But I'll find it and drop it in the show notes for folks that wanna check it out. Sorry for that distraction there. And you said Alibaba, it just made me think about that. All right, let's see here. I got us way off course here. What other questions did we have here? Jeremy asked a question, bandwidth usage question. Since all channels take the same available bandwidth, what's the time to hit the network? So I think, Jeremy, you'll have to give me some more context here. I think what you're talking about, though, is if you're running Meshtastic and MeshCore at the same time, maybe? Right? Does that have some... is there something...
Well, to be more specific on that, then, the app allows you to connect two physical devices at the same time. One that would be on MeshCore's network and one that's on Meshtastic's network. So it's not one... you would need two of these over your phone, basically.
Yeah. So it's very similar to what I do on my Samsung phone, where I run Meshtastic in the normal operation mode, and then they have this secure folder mode, which is kind of a sandbox that has a completely segregated environment for Bluetooth and everything. So you can be connected to two different devices at the same time, and you can run Meshtastic and MeshCore. But you have to have a phone that has something like that sandbox capability, right? Unless you've got...
I don't need that for this. The app handles two simultaneous Bluetooth connections, and it's doing dual APIs over serial at the same time.
Nice. So, Jeremy, if I didn't do your question justice there, please give us a little more context there. I think Stavros probably got it. And then Grayman threw out... I'm trying to think what you meant here.
Purple color?
Yeah. Well, no, he said air gapped. So I'm trying to think about what the context was whenever he threw that question out. I don't know if that...
physically or logically isolated from unsecured networks like the public internet. That's what air gap means.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how he meant it. let's see, Jeremy chimed in again. So all transmissions share the same frequency bandwidth. Yeah, but those are two different networks, Jeremy. That's what he's saying, right? He's using two different radios. So you're Bluetoothing to the radio, and then the radio
Correct.
is on its own. Even though they're both in the 900 megahertz space, they're,
They're on separate
probably on
channels,
different,
or
on a different frequency.
Yep.
All right, let's see.
Don't get when I hear the word bandwidth, I start getting what the young kids call it, triggered. I start getting triggered by like everybody's got to be on 500 kilohertz bandwidth. I'm like, nobody likes hearing that.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see.
Though Meshtastic is coming out with a full line of new presets for the US in order to
and be
alleviate
FCC
that.
compliant and
Correct. But
nice.
the network's going to get worse. Shorter range, basically.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. I think I got all those questions. Let's see. Tank Radio. Hey, Frank. Welcome, buddy. Frank must have just got back from the cigar bar. That's my guess. It's 10:46. Let's see.
I have a interview with him. I missed the last one, but we should have one at the end of the month.
Fantastic. Yeah. So it's busy schedule coming up, right? This is I really like adding the overlanding things later in the year here, because all the ham stuff's really done at that point, and not to mention it's a little cooler out, all those types of things. I'm looking forward to Overland East for sure. That's going to be a lot of fun.
But it's not the biggest, right? The biggest
is not
out in the mountain somewhere, Colorado.
Actually, I think the biggest is in Arizona. I think the one that's in, and I think they call that West.
Burning Man? No, I'm kidding.
I think they call that one Overland West, but I believe it's the Arizona ones which is the largest. Let's see, Frank. Yeah, just got home from the bar, and yes, I'm looking forward to the interview. July 26th. So yeah, so that's right around the corner. That's next week, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. Dave asks a question, and Dave, yep.
Mesh Dealer Dave?
Mesh Dealer Dave, are you going to DEF CON? So somebody got here late, and have you started playing with 2.4 gig?
Okay, so am I going to DEF CON? Yes, and I will be selling this lanyard with the Tamagotchi style thing called Pocket-Meshie. Basically, it is a Meshtastic node that has, I'm doing this backwards, so apologies. Has a little
There he is.
Has a little monster, right? He's angry right now. But there's a suite of things you can do. There's a bunch of settings like how much it loves you, energy, your relationship score. I had a button for it to kill it. I removed that button, but it can die if you neglect it. I have a booth at DEF CON. I've got a corner 10 by 10 booth. I will be there. I will be selling hopefully all of this. Then at the same time, Rockland also has a booth. They have a 20 by 10. They'll be a little bit further down, but they'll be in the same row at DEF CON. Sweet.
That thing looks like those little sprite monsters, or those little sprite things from Totoro.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Dave says, I'm going to be working at the Ham Radio Village off and on. So yeah, so Dave will be there too. So good.
Yeah, I hear there's like parties, and I didn't do any of that stuff last year. But gotta connect. There's this not Telegram, but there's some channel where all the vendors are on. It's nice to see like basically all the CEOs of all the vendors basically talking to each other.
Nice.
I'm like, hey guys, like, oh, you're new.
Nice. Yeah, it seems like it's a good community these days. Certainly, a little different than. Not saying it wasn't community driven 15 years ago, but a little different, I think, these days. All right, let's see. Did we miss anything? Was there anything that you wanted to chat about that we missed out on?
I'm looking around. No, the mobile app. I'm going to try to see to make sure it's ready for overland. That's the estimated time. The BaseCamp outdoor stuff is a work in progress. That's still months away, especially needing for injection molding and all that cost. So
Sure.
right now, the focus is on the portable handhelds. But besides that, I'm going to be upgrading the firmware for MeshCore to their latest version. I think I'm 2 or 3 publics behind, and then all of that will go on the public web flasher as well.
Gotcha. I tell you, while I've got you here, and I know this doesn't include you in the scene here, but let's just take a quick look here. I'm going to go to the device page. So we've got the Pocket-Ranger here. If you go to the buy now, it looks like, and I looked at this a little while back. Okay, we'll go here to the Pocket Scout. So you've got, okay, so you got the Pro available. You got all the colors listed here. Looks like they're all available for pre-order, right? So folks can. Now, one of the things I think we talked about a while back, I believe we talked about this, is that you had also improved your silicone seal in the development of the Pro. Is that right?
That actually that was in the, so this would be 3rd production run.
Okay.
I fixed that in the second production run that just passed.
Gotcha.
I can show you I've been chewing my hands this whole meeting, so apologies. If you notice, I can't do things backwards.
Easier to get to the power button.
Yep. So the whole power button hole has been significantly larger, so you can fat finger it now. And then the silicone itself, I changed the hardness just to help with the sealing. There wasn't any issue with the seal, but it helped with pushing the button. So that's the reason for the hardness change.
Gotcha.
There was one thing I wanted to add. I actually had it in my list here of things to mention. So somebody had actually asked me if I offer this, and I didn't at the time. But it was something I should have added, and it is available now. So I added a discount for military, first responders, medical workers, and teachers. So on checkout, when there's like some link you can go through for, to verify for military and whatnot, and then you'll get a discount when you're checking out.
Cool. Excellent. All right, and then let me see here. Let me swap back here just so we can show off the goods here. So you're able to get your pre-orders in on the Scout. Same with the Pocket-Ranger here. Able to get your pre-orders in here. Fantastic. And here's some of the extras. And these are really outstanding, right? These, as far as holsters go, I mean, these really are top notch. These, you got a good spring on there. It's well, like everything else that you're doing, it's well designed. So, if you guys are holster people, don't hesitate. It's a quality device, and I thought this is brilliant. This is just awesome. Right now, I'm curious. You did 3. Any reason why you did 3 and not 4? 4 seems like
Of course.
Yeah.
I have a reason for everything.
I figured you might.
Okay, so I limit the charging on every device to maximum of a 1 amp current. So the charging chip itself limits to 1 amp. And if you're charging at full power, USB-C, the default maximum limit of USB-C is 3 amps.
Okay.
So
there
you
you
could
have it.
do 4, 5, 6, but you'll be charging at a lower current.
Yeah. Okay. Makes perfect sense. I figured there was a reason. I thought that might be it, but better for you to describe it than me to take a guess, since we got you. Let's see here. We've got the PoE. This is still version 1. We'll be looking for the BaseCamp coming out at some point. Are you still going to offer this one, or is this going to be discontinued in favor of the new versions? Or is that still...
Can you hear me?
I gotcha. Yep, I got you back.
Okay, so when I'm not in the view, my audio is cut out, right?
I saw that. Yeah, that's kind of odd, but it appears to be the case.
Okay. Learning as I go here. There's 45 or 46 left in stock. I'm sending them all with me at DEF CON. It's not really a DEF CON-ish product. Most of the stuff they like is carry.
Sure.
But we did get a few infrastructure-style requests at the last show of DEF CON. To answer the question more specifically, I don't have any plans at the moment to make any more. I could, but then that's just going to increase the time to market on the next version. I don't really want to do that. If there is a hey, we really wanted this, and our city wants to buy 10 or 20, actually, I'll do it. But if there's no real need, there are other options out there for short term that people can go to.
Makes sense. And then those who might not be familiar, right, just to round out some of the conversation and some of the things we talked about. So since Stavros has his custom firmware, he's got his own flasher here, and you can see for both Meshtastic and MeshCore. So, and I can tell you that I have fewer issues flashing through this flasher than some of the others. So, but yeah, so that's your one-stop shop, lowmesh.com. You can pick up your devices. You can flash them right there. And there's some other stuff out there as well. But those were the items we were talking about tonight.
The more techie, geeky stuff on the web flasher, if people are interested, they just click the debug button and they can actually see what's going on. Most of the time when you flash, let's say 70% of the time, it just works the first time. There is a good chunk, let's say 30% or more, of failures. But what happens is that on a failure, I have a lot of recovery things that happen. So basically, think of it as a chunk. And let's say you have 100 chunks and a chunk fails. Normally, all the web flashers that people use, it just says it failed. Try again, and then you have to start the whole process over again. I don't do that. I basically say, okay, this chunk failed. Let me try this chunk again, and then I go through some process. There's a few little checks here and there to recover from that error, and then usually it does. There is still, I don't know, maybe 5% or so that will fail no matter what, and you still have to reset the device itself. But I do a lot of recovery to try to give you a better experience, because it's not good when you tell people who are not tech savvy to update something and then it fails. The less support, because LowMesh is very small. It's kind of like me, just me. to handle a certain amount of support requests for a long period of time or a lot of people, it starts to reduce what I can do, and then I got to start looking at employees and support staff. So when building something, I go, okay, how can I make this so I don't get any calls?
Sure.
And one example was the outdoor PoE. People were having issues connecting it to their switch because it doesn't get an IP address. I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to put a $5 or $6 PoE injector in here, and it's always going to work. And I'm not going to get a call that they're not getting any power because I don't have to. I don't care. There's no switch.
Right.
And it costs me more, but I got no more calls after that.
I don't know why I've got that. I was trying to bring you on. Last time we were on together, you may recall, Bill was with us. But
he bought an outdoor PoE thing.
Bill did?
I believe so.
He may have. What was I trying to bring up? I was trying to bring up just a list of, where did I put them? I think this is where I put them. See if I can pop those up. Yeah, there you go. There's some links, right? So lowmesh.com, shop at lowmesh.com. If you want to support the channel as well, you can go to bitsy/LM for LowMesh, and that is appreciated as well. All right, I think we covered like a lot of ground. I'm still impressed. I'm still kind of blown away by your demo. That's
the audio.
Yeah, that is definitely the coolest thing that I've seen all week. Thank you for doing that. That was so cool. That was awesome. I'm excited about all the new stuff you have that you have coming out. I can't wait to see your solar node. I can send
you if you have 2 Android devices, I can send you the APK file that you could just like load up and test yourself if you want to see.
Yeah. You mean 2 of these? I got them.
2 of those.
Send them along. I would love to play with it. That'd be fun. All right. Well, let's see here. Any last questions here before we and I'm not really going anywhere here. I want to give Stavros an out if he wants one. We've held him here on camera for 2 hours. So, well, an hour and 40 minutes.
I didn't take the out last time. I will take the out this time because we stayed till like 2, 3 in the morning.
Yes, we did. Well, hey, I certainly appreciate all the time. You're very generous with your time. You're very generous with your knowledge. I love when you come on. I love talking with you. It's always a blast, and I always learn something. So,
Thank you.
You know, I hope that the fall is just fantastic for you. I have a feeling it's going to be. And I won't see you at DEF CON, but I will see you at Huntsville. So looking forward to that.
And Overland, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to Overland East. Yes, absolutely.
I'm going in my little Tesla, so I'm not going to have a place to shower, or I'll be stinky by the end of the 4 days. But I'm going.
They have. I mean, I've never been to this one, but I mean, I'm sure they've got, you know, like camp showers and all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, we've got at least a few people going. I know Kyle's going. I'm not sure who all is going, but I'm sure we'll have at least some presence there. So, you know, we'll have tents and awnings and places to hang out. Probably have a little gazebo to get out of the sun if we need to. We usually set up a pretty good little camp when we do. So you're more than welcome to come hang out, and you know, we won't judge you if you're stinky, because we'll be stinky too.
Well, you're the only person besides Rockland that I know, so I'll definitely know you guys and say hi.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on, and can't wait to see you in person. And keep doing what you're doing, man. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thank you. Have a good one. Thanks for bringing me on.
You bet. You bet. Anytime. All right. So we'll give Stavros a break. Here, let me make sure he got yeah, it looks like he got disconnected okay. Let me just make sure he's good. All right. What'd you guys think of that, man? I tell you, I loved that voice demo. That was amazing. There's a water hose there. Yeah, there you go, Jeremy. He's gone, but he came back. All right. Let's see here. We'll stand upwind and toss money at you. There you go. Bill's got it. Let's see. The LowMesh outdoor nodes are like two little horns on either side of the green ham machine. Yeah, I've got mine here as well. I've got my PoE device down at my barn. Let's see. Yeah, that's the way it works, Bill. You walk away, we'll start talking about you for sure. Nice to see Power joined out there. I'm not sure if they're still with us, but they love the Pocket Ranger. Yes, and you should. That is an awesome device. I've got two of them that I carry on my EDC backpack. See them right there. I got one for Meshtastic, one for MeshCore. I mean, it's I usually have a couple of others strapped to the bag, trying one thing or another, but it's really hard to justify carrying something else when I get, the 4 weeks of battery life on this thing. If I can go to an event and I don't have to worry about charging one more thing, let alone two more things, because I'm running MeshCore and Meshtastic, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to take that every time. That's why I just can't understand why other folks aren't taking advantage of that capability. Yeah, Dave, I was saying before you got here that I've got FOMO. I'd love to be going to DEF CON. It just happens to be in a week that Trina's going to be out of town already, so I am not going to be able to go. You think he could squeeze a 1-watt mesh on the... Yeah, so that was actually part of our discussion earlier. So he's got some new products coming out that he is currently calling the BaseCamp, and they're 1-watt radios. So you're going to want to go back and listen to that portion of it. There's a lot of cool tech that he's squeezing into the BaseCamp line, right? He's got the 1-watt radios. He's using the sodium ion batteries. There's an option to add a cellular modem. Lots of cool tech. So yeah, that's definitely on his roadmap. That's part of what he's coming out with in his next outdoor device. Let's see. Going to be rough. 2 major conventions in 1 month. Yeah. Yep. You're hey, the good news, Dave, is well, I mean, you're always working your tail off at all these events, just like Stavros does. You working guys, I got a lot of respect, because I know just how much, not only time, but just energy, right? When you've got to give away that much energy when you're in front of people, and you gotta be nice, and you gotta be smiling, and you gotta be doing all the things that you need to do whenever you're the face of something. Takes a lot out of you. But the good news is, it is Huntsville. It is more relaxed. The evenings are very chill, and they're a lot of fun. So you got that going for you, Dave. All right, let's see. Robert saying, I got the Pocket Ranger early on. It's great other than one issue with the power switch. Okay. Yeah, and he's chiming in there for you as well. Yeah, and the new ones, I don't know if you saw that, Robert, but he was just showing off the larger cavity for that button that makes it just easier to deal with. Let's see. Oh, Dave says Gigaparts is now selling the Seed Studio Meshtastic. So there you go. So you just get to chill. You just get to be you get to just be Dave and hang out. So you've got nothing to complain about now. Well, don't be tempted, Robert. You just got to get them. I mean, the price is so attractive. The tech is fantastic. You just got to, oh, I just get to be the flasher guy. There you go. Show what? What you looking for, Po to Power? I have too many nodes, said no one ever. I know how that is. I've got a lot of nodes here as well, but you get arrested for that around here. The show part, is that what you mean, Jeremy? Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. What else do you guys, I'm trying to think what else I've got news-wise to share. I know we did a speed round on the this and that. I don't know if you guys had any questions for anything that we had out there. Let's see, what have I got going on here? I don't have anything new kind of sitting on my desk. Is Rockets and Radio Tim or Typhoon Tim still around? We got to chat about this, Tim. We should get synced up on that. Let's see. Blasphemy, that's right. I agree. Let's see. Forgot to say, I'm also working on a side project, a Go box with Rangers and Scouts and a charging dock with battery pack built into the Go box. You know, that's a great idea. You know, especially if you're looking at the like emergency management vertical, right? If you're looking to provide a kit, that'd be fantastic. Let's see. Po to Power, going to start back from the beginning later. There you go. Hey, thanks for stopping in. I'm glad you guys were able to make it. Thank you. Let's see. Dave says, are you on the Kickstarter list for the new card computer? So I did see that. I checked it out. I think all the like early deals, I think we're past all those. I think that the black transparent one was pretty cool looking. Here, let's see if we can. Let me see. Let's take a peek at that thing. That is a pretty cool device. All right, let's see. I guess is this where I was? This is where I was. All right, let's see here. It was actually a Kickstarter, right? There's a couple of those different types. Yeah, it's actually a Kickstarter. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea that you can run Linux on it. That's cool. I do like that. I do like the case on that. I think that's pretty cool. I've got to, I guess they call it transparent black. I've got to figure out, a use case for this. I know Tim's pretty excited. There's a couple of satellite related firmwares, and I think those are cool. But I got to figure out what I can do with that thing. What I want to do with it, what I can do with it. Let's see. Robert, you just have to start, I know you don't have a lot of people up there. You're not very mesh dense up there. You need to start gifting some of those to some of the people around you and start getting them hooked. The kick. Yeah, it's actually over. Gotcha. Oh, there's Tim. Yeah, I see it's got those add-ons and such. That's kind of cool. I'm just again, I'm just trying to figure out, besides being just another kind of tinker toy, I've got to come up with a use case for it. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I mean, I do like the idea of just using it as kind of a portable computer, right? As a portable Linux machine. I do like that. I just haven't put much thought into it yet. One cord USB for rig control. Yeah, that's pretty cool. What can't you do with it? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm just like I said, it's way cooler than I expected it to be, right? It's better than I expected, but I'm still just trying to figure out what I want to do with it. I mean, and potentially using it. I just kind of thought in my head about what I want to do with it. I mean, well, let me think about that for a moment. Why not? So this might be a cool little device. So I've got my linear satellite kit is an 818 and an 817. It would be cool to interface both of these to this device to manage the Doppler, right? If you're adjusting the receive, you could automatically adjust the receive on one, you could automatically adjust the transmit on the other. That's a use case right there. Let's see here. Greg says, not sure if I missed it earlier. I came in late. Did I see one of those? Tevils is active. Yes, indeed. Tevel 2.5. Look at that. Indeed. Tevel 2.5. Yesterday. Today, I guess. Actually, yeah, today. Active. Cardputer will give full Doppler control. So it'll give full Doppler control to one radio. Right? I'm trying to think about my 2 radio setup. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Exactly, Robert. Pass on those V3s. Right, if you're not going to use them, get them in the hands of some people that haven't experienced the joy of all things mesh yet. right? That's the best way to grow your community, certainly. But yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty exciting. Let's see. Yeah, so Tim, we'll have to. I'm gonna have to flash this and play with it, but we'll have to chat. Like I said, I think I was aware that firmware would do Doppler control for a single radio, but I'm talking about managing the inverse frequency for 2 radios. Yeah, that's a good idea, Robert. Yep. Certainly, yeah. I don't know. The other thing I would try to do is if you've got, a neighbor that might show some interest or be interested in, that might be something to do, depending on how far your nearest neighbor is, right? It'd be cool to just have another communication method between, in your neighbor group. Yep. Yeah, it was funny. I saw the post about it on the AMSAT BB, and the guy who made the post said, he just kind of tried it and was surprised when he heard himself in the downlink, and of course nobody else was on because there wasn't really an announcement, at least that I saw. I don't know if anybody else saw one, but it was kind of a shot in the dark that paid off. But yeah, certainly worth giving it a try. Giving it a try this weekend for sure. All right, let's see. We're pretty crammed here. Nearly 4,000 people in a 25-mile radius, most of them being in a 3-mile. Wow. I guess that makes sense, right? I mean, you've got the wilderness all around you, so in terms of trying to manage the infrastructure there, it probably makes sense that people kind of cluster together. It makes sense. Let's see. What else do you guys have going on? Let's see. I'm trying to think if I have there's anything to go back. Is anybody going out to do Support Your Parks weekend? I don't know if Tim Grayman's still out there. I'm sure he'll be out on Sunday. Does anybody have a POTA activation or a POTA hunt planned for this weekend? I'll probably do a little bit of hunting. I've got a bunch of work to do here at the ranch per usual. We gotta get dogs to the vet to get a bunch of rabies shots, rattlesnake shots. We got a bunch of those types of things that are due, and it's always a bit of a circus getting these dogs to the vet. Let's see, Dave. Dave's currently living in a threefer. Nice. Let's see. Grayman's going to be activating both days. Okay. Nice. Excellent. Yeah, so that's exciting. There'll be busy bands for the weekend. I don't know if there's any. I don't know what the what the contest calendar looks like. Let's see what we got here. Labre DX contest, a Russian radio team championship, 70 megahertz contest, CQ worldwide, VHF digital contest. So there's a few. North American QSO party, RIDI contest. Nice. So there's a few things this weekend. Should make for an action-packed weekend, but hopefully the bands will cooperate. All right, let's see. ZL is on 30 meter FT8. Ooh, nice. 6 meter FT8 currently. Nice. Batavia, New York. A little upstate action in Batavia, huh? Nice. I used to drive through Batavia quite a bit. No reports on AO 123. Let's see. AO 7 just keeps chugging along. Let's see. What else is... Anything else standing out? I don't think anything else is really out of the ordinary. Yeah, that's the big one right there. Let me see, what else? What else? I tell you, I want to try to find that. What was the name? You know what? I bet you I've got it in my history. I think you guys will get a kick out of this. Oh, one thing I will share too is... Here, let me jump over here. I should have the new force. Why is that? Here we go. There's the Fury. Here's the force. So I've got one of these en route. So this is this is one of the new Eberlestock chest rigs. You can see they went back to having some molly on the front, which is good. And it also comes packaged with the harness, which is also good. So I'm curious to see how this, if this works as a successor to the multi-pack. So I'll be swapping over to this and running this for a little while so I can share my thoughts on it. Let's see here. Oh yeah, what was I going to do? I was going to look. I want to find that. Let me see. Where's my history? Forget the name of their. Okay, what is it? Goon Squad. You guys ever heard of Goon Squad? How do they spell it? They got like 3 million subscribers, something crazy like that. Here we are.
For the acute treatment of migraine with or without aura in adults, Nurtec ODT can provide relief in...
Was the Temu drone worth it? It's probably about
They kept calling it Temu.
We freaking flew! What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we bought one of the
All right, so here they build the thing. Like I said, I'll link this. Oh, there you go. There was the controller.
here, which that's just a big piece of the puzzle. I mean, we got to fly this thing before we hop inside.
But let me get to the good parts here. Look at this thing. Look how big that is. So, you know, I think I'd be surprised too when it actually took off. But, I mean, they did spend 30 grand on this thing. So I would hope it would take off.
That's pretty quiet, too.
Hey, Sean.
Dude, that is insane. What the heck?
All right, so that's that. And then they decide, okay, let's put somebody in it.
Helmet. Let me just sit in here. Don't take off. I'm not. Just sit in there and just buckle up.
It's supposed to have a
How much do you weigh?
payload capacity of about 200 pounds.
Maybe we should do it over some water. Do not touch anything. Keep your hands inside. Here it goes. We're going to send Simon off.
That looks pretty smooth. Right, so they get all jacked up about that, which I can understand. And then here, let's go for another
It just really just felt like
pretty good little landing there, right? And then, right, they talk about it some more.
buy one and anybody can fly one. Insane. How does it feel? Feels like I'm flying a helicopter with a remote. It's insane, you know what I mean? Like a real helicopter. Dude, that's crazy right there.
You can buy a helicopter off of Alibaba
See what
too.
it does with the approx, you know? Oh!
Look at this. Oh!
No! Oh no! Yeah, dude. We're cooked.
So there you go. I don't think they put part 2 out. This was 7 days ago. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like they... Doesn't look like... they had mentioned this in the video too. I hadn't seen this one. Oh my gosh. Look how... This is another thing you can buy on one of those, right? This one's on Temu. I gotta see what this is. I mean, look how... What? We bought 3 Temu jet boats.
Go, 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 go.
Ooh.
Are you sinking?
Before this video gets started, guys, we're gonna do something we've never done before, and with
Those things look like they move. Alright, let's see what this is. I'm just curious how much money they spend on these things. Alrighty, Tim. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Is that it right there? No, that's not it. What they call that thing? I called it a jet boat, right? Temu jet boat. Let's see if they put a link in here. They hadn't put a link in the other one. No. All right, let's just do a search here. Jet boat for adults. 1 person electric full size. Okay. Let's see if that's it. Now, I'm curious here. I couldn't find anything on Temu, but I was able to find some of these things on, yeah, see, this looks $6,000. Does that look like it? The Housekeeping? Yeah, it looks like the same steering wheel. Yeah, that's it. See, I can't find these things on Temu, but they have them on Alibaba, so I'm not sure why they're calling them Temu. Maybe Temu's cooler for the kids. $6,000. So they spent almost $20,000 on these things. I guess when you have 3 million subscribers, you can do that kind of thing. That's crazy. Those things really move. Wacky. All right, let's see. $4,200. Maybe you saw a different one there, Tim. But that looked to be the one. But like many other things on Alibaba as well, right? You have multiples and they all have a different price. And you have to read all the fine print and hopefully you can decipher it. Let's see, what's that thing called? The Housekeeping. See if we can find multiple listings for a Housekeeping. Well, that looks to be very similar. Different, oh, it's a Housekeeping. See, this one here's like $4,000. It's a little bit different. Crazy. All right, let's see. That's their video in the boat posting. Oh, did they actually, is this theirs? That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, look at this. This one's got a swim deck. Oh, too funny. Too funny. I guess we've reached that hour. Let's see. What else do I have for you guys? I'm going to be taking my my Spec 5 relay. You guys, I think, know what this is. I'm going to be taking this down this weekend and changing it over to MeshCore. Tell you that I've not had to touch this thing since I put it up. Let's see, when did I put this thing up? That's one of the benefits of doing some of these videos, is I can just go find the video. I think it's been up for a year. Yeah, it looks like I've had it up for about a year. I was taking a good look at it. I have it up on the eave of the barn. And I had used some coax seal on it and wrapped up the connections real good, the connectors, and all that stuff looks like it did real well as well. It's just been working. I just had it up there. I hadn't even thought about it or needed to do anything with it, but I'm gonna swap it over to MeshCore and see if we can't connect some various we've got like, well, let's see. Let's take a look. We've got nodes that are popping up west of Fort Worth, into Lake Worth, and a little bit further. Okay, so here's Fort Worth. Ooh, I think this is, I don't remember seeing this one. What's this one? Oh, 3 months ago. Okay. So I just didn't pay any attention to that. So we've got, so Jason's over in this area. Ham Radio 2.0. He's over here. You can see we're starting to kind of stitch some areas together. Certainly here in the Metroplex. Now, I'm out in Springtown, so I'm just trying to see what I can do, right? Do my part to try to start connecting some of the areas. Let's see, what is this? Manually added. Where in the heck is this? Let's see. Oh, geez, I think that's... Oh, wow, that's crazy. Let's see. So this is super close to me. That's awesome. I know exactly where this is. So Rhodes Lane, so there's a guy that last name is Rhodes, who has a big old, I don't know how many hundreds of acres he has, but this is on his property. I'm going to have to go over there and see if that's a tower. I don't recall there being a tower over there, but I know I'll be able to hit that from my place. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so that's it, Pepe. We have a bunch of kind of unconnected. We just need some, we need to start building out so that we can get some of these connections But you can see it's, I mean, this looks so much different than it did 6 months ago, right? Start of the year. I mean, Fort Worth is getting really well covered. This is 199. This is the route that I take. You know, these are all fairly new out along 199. Surprised there's nothing in Azle here. That's interesting. So in my county here, there are a ton of Meshtastic nodes, but they're all on medium fast. This whole county is medium fast, which is just a little different. It's a little odd. It's really kind of an island, which means everybody within the county on Meshtastic has pretty good luck in communicating with one another. But I mean, I'm trying to socialize the idea of at least getting half of these nodes switched over to MeshCore, because I think we would have a good chance here of connecting to Tarrant County and Denton County up here. So let's see here. And my node is currently set up as a Meshtastic network for just the ranch. But I'm not really doing too much with that except for tracking the goats right now. So I've decided I want to swap that over to a MeshCore repeater and see if we can't start filling some of this stuff in. What's over here on Graham? Is that a room server? Yep. That's interesting. A little room server just sitting out there all by itself. So out here where we did field day, let me get my bearings here. Where am I? Yeah, we weren't too far from Sulphur Springs. We were actually right up here on this Jim Chapman Lake. We were on the southern side. This here's the park we were in. And you can see I had my room server out there. We had our nodes out there. Nada, nothing. We got butt kiss out here. Saw a little bit of Meshtastic, no MeshCore. Right, there's the town of Cooper. This is Cooper Lake State Park. But certainly around DFW. Then, of course, you get down here toward Austin. I mean, look how dense this is in Austin. That's pretty good. And then if we go over San Antonio way, these guys can connect to one another at least. Right? Not quite the same density here, but you can connect, right? They can connect. And then let's see if we see Jason's out here on, that's probably him right there. Nope, that's not him. I think he's further. Let's see, let me get my, okay, there's the park. So I think he's more in here. But I don't see his node out there. This is the park we did Winterfield Day at, I think 3 years ago. That was fun. but certainly seeing a lot of growth. Picked up 120 nodes on Meshtastic on the last drive through San Antonio. Nice. Nice. Yeah, looky out here. I mean, 734 nodes. That's pretty dense. Now this is out. Gosh, let's take a look here. There's just not a lot here in western Pennsylvania yet. Pittsburgh's filling out a little bit. But out here in the more rural areas, there's just, right, and the rural areas is really where you want it, where you need it. We saw a lot of good activity up in Connecticut earlier this spring. Yeah, you got the California footprints are huge out here. Same up here, Portland. Look at Seattle. Holy smokes. Look at that density in Seattle itself. Jeez. That's pretty wild. Not too much out here on Vancouver Island. I'm kind of surprised by that. Get up here Robert's Way. Don't see anything kind of in his area necessarily. Got some stuff up here in Anchorage. It's always fun to kind of take a look and see what's going on. Let's see. Where are we at? Here we go. Let's see. Trying to get up here. Boy, kind of, you'd think that there might be some stuff up here in these remote areas, but apparently not. I always get a kick out of just seeing how things are growing. Oh, look at this room server up here. What's this up here? Santa. No password, standard password. Updated 2 months ago. That's pretty good. Up there on top of the world. Yeah, that's right. We need Dawn to get one up there on the moon. That's right. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Well, gang, I think we may have hit the end for tonight. Let's see. Did I miss any questions? Does not appear so. All right. Well, thanks for joining tonight, folks. Hope you enjoyed having Stavros on. I always, I sincerely love having him on. And like I said, I always learn something. Such a smart guy doing such smart things and really doing it the right way. So certainly someone you should support if you have an interest in Meshtastic or MeshCore. he really has great devices. You can just see that he thinks about things differently, and it shows in the products that he develops, and certainly the type of person that I want to support, and I'm happy to do so in any way I can. But I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you're able to get out and practice some radio. Hopefully, maybe you'll do some parks on the air. Maybe I'll catch you. I'm going to do a little bit of hunting in between my chores tomorrow. So hope to hear you guys on the radio. And yeah, I think I've got a couple of videos that are almost finished from a filming perspective. So maybe toward the end of the week, I'll get one of those out. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna try to wrap up quite yet. So just keep your eyes open, and we'll see you guys real soon. Thanks again. 7-3.